Hi, welcome. In this video, I'd like to talk about the motivator, okay, in this system of training. One thing that's very common when it comes to, mainstream dog training, as I define it, is that the typical, picture-driven narrative is to, come up with a way to build the picture, okay, using a motivating agent. Okay, such as treats are very common. People are going to advocate, maybe have a sense that, well, treats can be an issue, so I'm going to advocate something else, praise, a reward based of incentive to get to build the picture. Okay, again, I get in this whole thing about the picture problem. Okay, this learning based narrative that is really at the core as to why it is that things can look a certain way, and dogs continue to hold control through that narrative, and you still will be dealing with unwanted behavior issues and problems, even though the picture can look great, but be totally disconnected because people are not looking at the picture properly. Okay, they're not looking at the process, okay, properly, taking it down to what identifying it, what is the process, what's really happening, how's everything filter, and I show everything filters relationally. Dogs are social relational animals. So again, but I encourage people too, when I talk about these things, is some of it's common sense. You can take everything I say and apply it in a human setting. Let's say parenting, how it is that people can through action, people can respond certain ways, but be the motives be rotten, okay, as to why they're doing it. And you'll think that, again, apply this, just because a dog does a sit, does a down, and comes, you have to look beyond just the response part of it. You have to actually consider the motives and the type of influence, okay, as defined relationally. And no different than dealing with, say, a selfish child. They could respond to certain things, but does that mean or represent that you have parental influence? That, what are the motives? And again, this is why you look at the four styles of parenting. It's really no different, but people kind of have lost kind of touch with that. But again, I'd encourage people to think about why it is that the picture itself, there's a picture problem in the dog training world. It really has to do with this, how people jump into overcoming behavior issues and problems and trying to define it as something it's not, okay, and losing sight of, beyond just response, losing sight of as to what is underpinning the picture itself. But again, getting this issue too of using a motivator, okay, because this is the thing, people, this really, really challenges people like crazy, is, I need a motivator to, again, right, build my picture, okay. I've, years ago when I looked at the problems in with this picture, I knew right away things weren't lining up for many, many people. And then coming to that, epiphany moment, we're saying, well, is it, what's going on here? Is it, if it doesn't work out, is it the dog? This is not lining up. By auditing properly, really questioning, not just kind of pushing forward, but you're looking at that. And so, coming to looking at the relational aspect, okay, at that level, saying, okay, well, it goes beyond just dogs responding. We have to make sure that understanding, what do behavior issues represent? Okay, they're control issues. Okay, then, okay, what's the problem here? Well, we have a relationship problem. Okay, you have to go deeper than that. Okay, there's a relationship. Most of the dogs are sideways. Well, how do we fix it? Okay, we have to break it down. We have to approach it differently, at a interaction based. Okay, so what makes this system different is how it sets up change frame by frame based on an interaction based. Okay, these follower moments that how I define them take hold. Okay, the moments of influence that changes the perceptions of the dog. Okay, but the dog coming into agreement with, through the methodology, the process. Okay, through what's reasonable. That's a big, when I make that, you just think about that, what I just said there, and it's totally different. So the motivation, the motivator, okay, is, defining through the process at the intervention level. Okay, it's about relationship. and the dog coming into, same thing. You can take this and apply it to the human world. It's like if you have a teenager, a kid that is, you got problems. As a parent, you're stepping up to the plate, and even though the child's going to challenge, okay, may not based on the level of control they have, they're gonna, there's going to be some pushback, but same thing. They come into agreement with, okay, as you start to invest in the relationship properly, they come into agreement with. But ask yourself the question, I mean, what if you just try to incentivize change? You're already dealing with a selfish child. What does that represent? Just take that and apply it to what I'm saying. This hopefully will make sense to a lot of people as to why we have such incredible problems happening in the dog training world. So this system of training is very different that way, but very, very effective. So I'd encourage anyone, if you're looking for answers, check out this system. You're not going to hear trainers talking the way I'm talking. This will challenge people like, especially trainers like crazy, who have already invested in a certain, in the mainstream narrative, okay? Because the appearances are so deceptive. People try to figure this stuff out, even why it works for some and not others. I link that together. It's all about people, okay? It's all about relationship. You'll see it. But again, encourage you to think about, what is the process, identifying it properly, and, being able to move forward to make sure relational change happens, okay? So anyway, I have lots of great information on my website. Encourage you to check it out. If you have any questions, you need help, I have various training options. If you live here in Florida, there's options for one-on-one training. If you live in another state, even another part of the world, I help people as far away as in the United Kingdom, okay, through a distance, through Skype. They send me videos. I'm able to encourage them, get them moving in the right direction. So there's a distance option as well. So, but again, it's about moving beyond appearances and being able to really, affect change so that you're able to, resolve and overcome behavior issues at the core level. So thanks for watching.